Hello, I hope you guys are doing good. This is a day 34 video here at UBC, and this one was an emotional roller coaster. um, the day started off fine. I did not wake up at 9, so that led to this clip. I, in fact, did not get any work done this morning, but that's okay. Let's go eat. But, like, honestly, I was fine with not having gotten any work done in the morning. I went and got myself like a big breakfast, enjoyed it. It's honestly really good, just good stuff, made me happy. Then I headed over to the physics tutorial. It was fine, at least it was short. Like, concepts were not easy, but it was short, so yeah. Then I went to lectures, chem and physics, and they were in fact not so easy. Halfway through the chemistry lecture, people just straight up like started asking questions. They're like, please go back, or please like re-explain this topic. Yeah, it's not easy. Like the guy to my left like turns around, he's like, explain this, bro. I don't get it. And I'm like, I'm like, I barely get it, man. But you know, like sometimes when you have to explain things to others, you understand things yourself better, right? That's like the biggest test of how well you know material. So like as I was explaining, as I was like making my understanding of it like solidify, like I was able to give like more examples and make it better. But yeah, it was a tough lecture. And then we had physics where we had to like find the surface temperature of the planet from like sun radiation and whatnot. And yeah, it was tough. So like tricky stuff comes out of nowhere, you know? It's like you one of the things that like matters in those equations, like the surface area that's like being interacting with the heat, right? So I'm like, oh, well, half of Earth is facing the sun, so the surface area would be 2 pi r squared. Like instead of 4 pi r squared, it'd be 2 pi r squared because it's half a sphere. But then it's like, no, actually, it's just pi r squared because when you look at the planet from the front, it just looks flat, right? Like if you were to squish it, the surface area would be pi r squared, not 2 pi r squared, because this we assume the light is hitting it just head on. So yeah, so that like made me answer some questions wrong, but then like the very last couple of questions, like I really got going, really got in the mood. I was listening to some like Bruno Mars. I was like really happy, really like attentive during the lecture, and I was able to like answer them like really fast. And like at one point, like we were being asked a bunch of questions we would like discuss with groups, and like you like submit an answer through like a forum, and like you'd see how you did. And at one point, the people around me started calling me the thinker, because like I was getting these right, like I was really getting the concepts. So I was really happy. I was like, fuck, like hell yeah, like I'm really liking physics. You know, like on my way back from like lectures to back to my dorm, I'm walking. I'm thinking, what if I become a theoretical physicist one day? That'd be cool. Like, not planning on it, but just like that's how like in the physics mindset I was. I show up to lunch, like I'm feeling really high, you know, like in terms of like happiness levels. They have like sweet chili chicken, which is like one of my favorite meals by far. They have popcorn, you know, it's amazing. I sit down and I get an email that chemistry quiz results are out. So I'm like, okay, let's go check. Yeah, and I wish I didn't. I got a 51. Yeah, I've done better. It wasn't even a lack of knowledge, to be honest. One of the questions was just hella tricky. Like, I understood the concept wise perfectly fine, and I just missed one detail where like if you bond with hydrogen, there would just simply be a lack of electrons because hydrogen has no electrons basically compared to like sodium or whatnot. And bummer, but like I lost points there. Then there was like another question that like I just threw because it was really time sensitive. It was like 9 questions in 20 minutes, right? And one of the question that like I just messed up was one where you had to like draw out several Lewis structures, and like just because I was rushing, I literally just made a calculation mistake and I was off by one charge, and that made me lose more points, which is like already like down from a 13 to a 9, right? Possible. Then I lost some partial credit on some question, which I guess that is a lack of knowledge, but like, partial credit is like, okay. And then there's one more question I still don't understand how it's wrong. It's literally ask what's the bond order in SO3, and you average it out and you get 1.33 as your answer. Like, like search it up, it'll say 1.33 online. Like I don't know. And everybody who I know who did that question, they got it wrong. So I don't know what the professor was looking for. But yeah, it's like I lost points there and like, what the heck. But that at least with that I could have gotten like a passing score. But yeah, 51, abysmal. Like that's all it is, abysmal. But the average for the quiz was a 54, so I'm not the only one by far who did poorly. But yeah, that very much so changed the mood for the day. Like, I was here emotionally, right? And like here, kind of, right? Like, massive drop. So like I got myself like a London Fog, like tea, because I needed to pick me up kind of thing. I also had a physics quiz and coming in a bit, right? So I was like mentally recuperating, I guess. I like studied for the physics quiz. I'm like prepared. I'm zoned in. I'm about to start the physics quiz, and I get a text on my phone, and it's a text from my ex. And yeah, that threw me for a loop. Like, it just caught me off guard completely. Like, yeah, no, it was not a pretty sight what happened to me for the next like 30 minutes, kind of. It's not like I started panicking or whatnot, right? But it's just like, it just pulled me out of the headspace I had for like physics, and just, yeah, thoughts scattered. And like, she sent one of the texts she said, it was like, we promised no matter what we'd be friends, right? Which is basically like forcing me to respond in an amicable way so we can restart her friendship. Keep in mind, I haven't talked to her for a month now, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel, like, at all. But in that moment, it was just terrible, like, yeah. But whatever. Talked like a tiny bit, responded, I like set the phone aside. I'm like, all right, zoned in, started the physics quiz. Physics was fine. It was actually the easiest quiz so far, and by far, I would say honestly both. It was stupid easy kind of, but I think that's just because lectures have been kind of janky, where like Mondays were off, or like today people had like a math midterm, so not everybody went to the physics lecture today. So yeah, I think they just made this week's easier. So yeah, that was great. Like, it was an easy quiz. Like, yeah, like this might sound overconfident, but I'll be really surprised if I didn't get 100, because like it was really straightforward. It's like you read the question, if you know what to do, you just find the formulas you need, just like substitute the values into the formulas, and bam, like it's right there. Like many times easier than the freaking written homework we had a few days ago, where you had to like linearize a derivative. Yeah. So yeah, and everybody else I talked to also thought the quiz was really easy. Once we were done, right, you have 25 minutes for 5 questions. Like, it's easy, but like still, it's like not that much time. I think I ended with like 7 minutes left, and I like double checked my answers. I'm like, okay, all good. Yeah. Then I went and grabbed dinner with some friends, just talked about life. When I was the average for the chem quiz was 54, right? But like when talking with like friends or like texting and whatnot, right? Like, the responses I heard were, my mom has a slipper for me waiting at home. I did an oopsies, and I threw that quiz really hard. And like, my friends were like nice enough to like share their scores, and basically, yeah, I heard from like 5 to like 8, right? Like score range. So with me being a 6.67, right, which is like a 51. So yeah, just bad quiz, really bad quiz. Whatever. After dinner, I went to work on SolidWorks a bit more. I'm a SolidWorks god by now, obviously, right? Got them hours put in. So I read the design instructions for our next CAD assignment. CAD is in like computer aided design. Um, so I start designing it, and I get to one of the requirements, which is a hole at least 4 millimeters wide. And I'm like, huh, because the height is 10 millimeters by 40 millimeters, right? Which translates to about that, this much, just a finger. It's actually so little. And I was trying to design a katana, right? Like a scaled down version of katana I've built. And yeah, it's even if I can manage to fit the hole through the handle, then they require at least 2 millimeters around each side of the circle as well. So the circle is freaking massive. The total height allowed is 10 millimeters, and the circle is 4 millimeters with 2 millimeters on each side, so it's 8 millimeters, right? What the heck? That's crazy big compared to the dimensions we're allowed. And yeah, it's I as my katana's not happening. I thought about trying the Batman logo, also not happening, unless I put the whole smack dab in the middle, but that would look ugly. I'm gonna do a kunai, because the kunai has a hole as part of the design, and yeah, but it still won't look that pretty. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Sorry. I literally thought about doing a kunai. I measured it out and whatnot, and even though the hole is part of the design, it's so massive that you can't do anything with it basically. So I think I'm gonna design something very boxy. I'm thinking of doing a Mercedes G-Wagon kind of car, or a railroad car, maybe a train car. I don't know what they're called. It's late. Um, Whatever. Yeah, a locomotive. Let's just put it that way. That's not what I'm thinking of, but yeah, maybe. But yeah, that stupid hole is way too big for the dimensions we were allowed. I think they did that on purpose so that people wouldn't um make this design too difficult. So they want us to simplify it instead down to these cubic things. But yeah, that made me kind of sad, but whatever, it'll be easier later on, I guess. But yeah, today was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, definitely. I went from neutral in the morning to super happy to sad and angry to focused and determined to whack down back to focused, then annoyed after talking about the chem quiz with people, then extra annoyed after reading the CAD assignment, the details. So yeah, it was a long day. Yeah, it's kind of late, and I have an 8 a.m. tomorrow, so I'll be tired. But honestly, whatever. I've given up. At least I don't really have to pay attention to my lectures that much tomorrow, because the first one is AppSci, and it's always random stuff on Fridays. They literally just have this drawing there. And the other is physics, which I attended today, and I actually really paid attention, so I could not pay as much attention. Yeah, I don't know. I've had better days. I'll rate this a 4 out of 10. I don't know. If you had asked me at lunch what I would have rated it right before I saw the chem quiz, I would have given it a 10. Honestly, a 10. But yeah, it was not a great day. But that's all right. Today's over, so let's move on, right? I hope you guys are doing fine. And if you're not, that's okay. And yeah, that'll be it. Bye bye.